Okay, so today we're going deep into graphic design.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you gave me a ton of material about like some of the most famous designers ever.
Awesome. Yeah.
And it's so crazy to think about how these
Yeah.
people weren't just, making things look pretty.
Right.
They were really like shaping the way we communicate and, branding.
Uh-huh.
Like even just culture as a whole.
Totally.
Like for instance, did you know that the I Heart NY logo,
Yeah.
that guy also made Bob Dylan posters?
Wow.
Talk about range, right?
That's amazing.
And then some designers were so experimental that they almost like broke the rules of what's even readable.
Oh, really?
So, why don't we start with
Yeah.
the only Paul Rand?
Okay. Yeah. Paul Rand. He's often called the father of modern graphic design, which is a
Fair.
pretty serious title.
Yeah.
But what did he actually do
Oh, yeah.
to earn that title?
Yeah.
Well, think about logos like IBM and UPS,
Okay.
ABC. Those are all his work.
Oh, wow. Those are like classics. They're so simple, but they just like stick in your head.
Yeah.
I never really thought about who designed them before.
Right. And before Rand came along, a lot of graphic design was really cluttered. Like there was just so much going on.
Yeah.
He really stripped things down.
Okay.
He used like negative space, and he had this really sharp eye for what we call visual hierarchy.
Hmm.
He understood how to guide the viewer's eye
Interesting.
to the information that was most important.
Okay.
And, his work was revolutionary because it really shifted that focus to these like clean, impactful visuals
Yeah.
that transcended trends, and they just felt timeless.
Oh, yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
Those logos still feel so modern,
Right.
even though they were designed like decades ago.
Exactly.
So it's like he was doing more with less.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to another legend.
Okay.
Saul Bass.
Okay.
He had this really unique niche
Uh-huh.
film title sequences.
Oh, wow.
I mean, most people don't even think of that as
Right.
something that's like designed,
Yeah.
but his work is iconic.
So this was a time when cinema was like exploding in popularity.
Yeah.
And Bass saw an opportunity to use the opening moments of a film
Huh?
to really hook the audience.
Hmm.
Think about like Psycho
Okay.
or The Man with the Golden Arm.
Oh, yeah.
Those stark visuals and those unsettling movements instantly set the tone for the whole movie.
Oh, my gosh. Psycho. Yes.
Yeah.
Those graphics, they're like burned into my brain.
Uh-huh.
I get chills just thinking about them.
They're so effective, though.
They're so effective.
Yeah.
It's like he created this visual language
Yeah.
for the emotions that you're going to feel during the movie.
Exactly. He was a master at using those visual cues to foreshadow the story
Right.
and evoke those emotional responses.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because his work really blurred the lines between graphic design and filmmaking.
Hmm.
He wasn't just creating, a title sequence.
Right.
He was setting the stage for the whole cinematic experience.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move from Hollywood to New York City
Okay, let's do it.
and talk about a logo that's everywhere.
Yeah.
The I Heart NY.
The classic.
That's Milton Glaser, right?
That's the one. But honestly,
yeah.
his portfolio is so much more than just that logo. I mean, he
Right.
designed posters and album covers,
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, you can always recognize his style.
Totally.
It's like the bold colors and the playful typography
Mm-hmm.
and that hand-drawn feel.
Yeah.
So interesting because his work is so full of energy.
Oh, yeah.
It's so different from Rand's minimalism.
Yeah, totally.
And it really captures the vibe of the 60s and 70s.
Absolutely. He was channeling the optimism
Yeah.
and the counterculture spirit of that time. And, he was proving that design could be both commercially successful
Right.
and still really artistically expressive.
Wow.
Yeah, he pushed the boundaries of what graphic design could be.
Okay, so from playful to practical.
Right.
Our next designer, Massimo Vignelli, he was also all about that less is more philosophy.
Oh, yeah, Vignelli.
And his work is something that we interact with literally every single day,
Mm-hmm.
even if we don't realize it.
Okay.
The New York City subway map.
Yes, the classic.
Right.
It's considered a design classic.
It is.
He was obsessed with clean lines
Okay.
and geometric shapes
Yeah.
and using a grid system to organize information in a clear way.
Right.
And, before his redesign, the subway map was just a mess.
Oh, really?
It was this jumble of lines and colors.
Mhm.
It was really hard to
So
understand.
he basically took this chaotic system
Yeah,
and made it user-friendly.
exactly. He believed that good design should be timeless
Mm.
and universally understood. But it's interesting, though,
Yeah.
the map has also been kind of controversial.
Well, why is that?
Well, people have argued that it oversimplifies the geography of the city,
Okay.
and it makes it hard to tell how far apart things actually are.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I guess even something as iconic as the subway map can spark a debate
Mm-hmm.
about how design should balance form and function.
Totally.
Well, speaking of impactful design,
Okay.
let's talk about Paula Schorcher.
Oh, yeah, Paula Schorcher, she's amazing.
She's worked with some of the biggest names out there.
Yeah, she's a partner at Pentagram,
Wow.
which is one of the top design firms in the world.
Okay.
And she's known for her use of typography
Wow.
and creating these brand identities that are instantly recognizable
Right.
for clients like the Public Theater.
Oh, I love the public theater posters.
Yeah.
They're so bold and eye-catching.
Mm-hmm.
And she used as layers of text,
Yeah.
but in a way that's not overwhelming.
Right. She understands that design isn't just about making things look pretty. It's
Yeah.
about guiding people's attention
Mm.
and influencing how they experience the world around them,
Right.
especially in a place like New York,
Yeah.
where you're just bombarded with visual information.
That's so true.
Her work really cuts through the noise.
Okay, well, from big institutions to a magazine that totally broke the mold.
Okay.
Next up is David Carson.
Oh, yeah, David Carson.
His work is so experimental it almost feels dangerous.
He's like the rebel of the design world.
Really?
Yeah, his work, especially for Ray Gun magazine in the 90s,
Okay.
was groundbreaking
Wow.
and really controversial.
Why is that?
He used these unconventional layouts
Oh.
and distorted type. It's like he was almost trying to make it hard to read.
It's like he's saying, look closer,
Yeah.
pay attention.
Exactly.
But I can see how some people might find that frustrating.
Right.
I mean, isn't communication the whole point of design?
It's a good question. And Carson's work definitely sparked this debate
Uh-huh.
about the balance between aesthetics
Yeah.
and functionality.
Right.
He believed that challenging conventions and pushing those boundaries
Yeah.
could create a more engaging and memorable experience for the viewer.
Yeah, it's definitely not boring.
No, it's not.
And lastly, we have someone who was a pioneer in using computers for design.
Oh, yeah.
April Greiman.
April Greiman.
It's hard to believe that that was once considered radical,
I know.
but she was so ahead of her time.
Yeah, in the 80s, when most designers were still working with traditional methods,
Okay.
Greiman was embracing computers as a new tool for
Uh-huh.
creativity.
Mm.
And she started incorporating digital techniques
Yeah.
and pushing the boundaries of what was even possible with technology at the time.
It's amazing to see how her work, which was once avant-garde,
Yeah,
has now become like the norm.
totally.
She really paved the way for the digital design world that we live in.
Yeah, she did.
So it shows how technology really reshapes the possibilities of design.
It makes you wonder, like, what will be the next big shift?
Right.
What tools and techniques will future designers use to communicate their ideas?
Wow, what a trip through the evolution of graphic design.
I know, it's amazing.
From minimalist logos to these rule-breaking magazine layouts.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see how much these designers influence how we see the world.
And what's really fascinating to me is how each of them reflected the cultural and technological shifts
Yeah.
of their time.
Mhm.
Design isn't just about aesthetics.
Wow.
It's a mirror to society itself.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving
Right.
and responding to the world around it.
So now that you've met all of these masters of design,
Yeah.
I'm curious which one speaks to you the most.
Ooh, that's a good question.
What kind of visual legacy would you want to leave behind?
I'll have to think about that.